Hello and welcome to your new moon video for the 23rd of October 2014. This new moon, a very special new moon because it is in fact a solar eclipse. Why don't we talk about that a little bit and what actually causes eclipses? Basically, lunar eclipses and solar eclipses are formed whenever there is a full moon or a new moon in close proximity to things in astrology that are called the lunar nodes. We call them in Vedic astrology, we call them Rahu and Ketu. So when you have a new moon that's in close proximity to one of the nodes, it creates a solar eclipse like we're having today. And the solar eclipse that we're having today takes place in a section of the sky that's called Swati. And we're going to talk about that energy a little more in depth. First of all, it's very creative energy. And to add to that level of creativity, first of all, you have the new moon, which is creative in general. New moon is always a planting of seeds. And in Vedic astrology, within the chart, the moon becomes weakened when it's close to the sun. But also, new moons are times when we're planting seeds of future ideas. Okay, so you have Venus in close proximity to both the sun and the moon. So there's a lot of creativity in that conjunction of planets, all within about a degree of each other as I'm speaking and recording this. And there's also some very special energy that's tied in with that. But let's touch back on Swati for a moment. Swati is very restless energy. It's symbolized, as are all the other lunar mansions in Vedic astrology. It's symbolized by coral. Now, that's not to say all the other lunar mansions are symbolized by coral. It's just to say that all the lunar mansions have symbols associated with them. And that of Swati is coral. Now, coral looks just like a rock, but actually it's a marine animal that secretes its own exoskeleton. So the idea here is one of self-perpetuation. What does that mean? Breaking beyond the boundaries, continually expanding and moving forward. It's a very restless energy that desires to be free, always moving. Okay, so there's a desire with this eclipse to be free, to break free, to expand beyond boundaries. Okay, and there's a determination that's associated with that, and also some sensitivity that's connected. Basically, this solar eclipse is forming a harmonious angle with Mars. In addition to that, all of these planets, the Sun, Moon, and Venus, are also trining Neptune. What's going on with that? We're going to touch on that a little more deeply, but there's a very profound process of self-discovery that's going to happen over the course of the next week or so, especially, but even within the next couple of weeks, and far-reaching into the next several months. The solar eclipse is also very distantly forming a harmonious angle with Pluto. Let's talk about each of those in turn. So we have the energy of Swati, wanting to break free of the boundaries, to expand, to change things which are dissatisfying in one's life and really make a change, create a difference. Now those are forming a harmonious angle with Mars in Sagittarius and Mula Nakshatra. Mula Nakshatra is very, let's use the word severe. In Vedic astrology, it's referred to as being a demonic nakshatra. When they say demon, they don't mean the same things as they do in the Judeo-Christian concept. It just means a very driven energy. So it's about pushing really hard for something. But occasionally over the cycle of doing this, there's likely going to be a brick wall or two that's hit within the process from pushing too hard, but hey, it's all part of the divine plan. When you hit that brick wall, which is going to happen, and there's nobody to blame for it happening, it's just part of the process of self-discovery, something gets revealed to you, which is of a deeper nature than the inkling or inclination that you had in the first place. Okay, so it's an energy that's very driven, and what happens after this solar eclipse is within the next few days, you've got Mercury stationing and moving back to forward motion. In addition to that, Mars is going to move into Capricorn, where it's exalted. So there's an energy of really pushing for change in one's life. Okay, so we have the energy of Swati and the energy of Mula. Let's talk about what's going on between these planets and Neptune. They'll be forming a trine with each other. A trine's a very harmonious angle, but there is going to be some tension that's involved in that. Neptune is in Shatabisha nakshatra. Now, Shatabisha is called the 100 Healers. It's also associated with Varuna, which is the Vedic version of Neptune. So there's a similarity that's here. The process of this nakshatra, quite literally and in actuality, I should say actuality rather than literally, tends to obscure things. It will make things appear to be one way so that a person goes in search of something, only to find something that is quite different, a deeper truth than they were seeking for in the first place. What's really interesting is Swati Nakshatra is associated with one of the stars, with a star called Arcturus. Okay, so here you have the Arthurian legend, so you have the concept of the quest, right? But something's going to be revealed along the way. A calamity comes into being, but something ultimately gets revealed, which brings clarity, which brings movement and lasting change to the process. In addition to that, you just touched on the trine to Neptune. Let's touch on what's going on with Pluto in relevance to this. Pluto is in Purva Ashadha. Purva Ashadha relates to the causal nature of the soul. Now, what do I mean by that? What I'm talking about is the soul in its natural state, just attracting to itself the experiences, the people, the things that it needs in its life in order to prosper and to grow. That's the energy of Purva Ashadha. Ultimately, it's about being real, coming to deeper and deeper layers of self-knowing and self-understanding. You think that you are already in that place right now, which you will likely be feeling in conjunction with this eclipse, but there's even more to come, especially over the course of the next week. All these changes with Mars changing sign, Mercury moving direct, and over the course of the next week, week and a half, the Sun is going to form an exact sextile with Pluto. Okay, the Moon within the next several days will form a conjunction with Pluto. But all of these planets, the Sun, Moon, and Venus, have been forming what's called a quintile with Pluto, which is also a very harmonious angle, even though it only lasts for about a day or so. So this is very prominent and very scorpionic nature. What is Scorpio about? Well, it's about many things, but primarily for the purpose of doing this new moon video, what we want to talk about is revelation, power, truth, and strength. Revelation, power, truth, and strength. Those are the keywords to focus on over the course of the next couple of weeks in integrating the changes that are associated with this solar eclipse, which once again is happening in Swati. If you'd like to know how this will impact you personally, then you can check into one of my vast range of astrological services, which are available through the link above in this video. I do web conference consultations. What those are is you and I connected by audio. I'm sharing your chart with you over your computer screen, pointing out key points in your chart as I'm interpreting those things, whatever we're taking a look at in relevance to your astrology. I also offer in-depth personalized video reports, which is just a half-hour monologue of me also pointing out key points in your chart that gets saved as a video. In other words, I'll be illustrating your chart much like I would be in the web conference videos. In addition to that, I also do written reports for people who prefer the written word so that they can integrate it more effectively. All of those are available through my astrological services section of the website, and through all of those you can find out about how this energy will impact you over the course of the next couple of weeks. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, you might consider doing so. You'll get an update at each new moon and full moon, in addition to weekly video forecasts, and also there are monthly video horoscopes and the occasional Vedic astrology class. That's going to do it for this new moon solar eclipse video. Until next time, I do hope that you'll take very good care of yourself.